calling them ugly and just looking down on them. You see, that's why I said that not all Africans are even real Africans. If this is Africa's biggest pageant, why is it that there are only 15 countries participating? Why are the Somalians angry with the current winner? Want to know what's up? Stay tuned, as this is my brutal opinion on Miss Africa 2025 pageant. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Miss Criticizer 2021. Hope you all are doing well. It is finally sunny. Girl, I am tired of wearing these bloody jackets. I am out, yes, with my summer clothes. If you're here for the very first time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell as I'm coming with you with more pageant news. So let me not keep you up any further. Miss Africa production pageant. Yes, I have heard of this pageant roughly like 6 years ago. I know that the city Calabar in Nigeria was a touristic hub. And let's just say they basically had everything, Sky Cable, they had the popular Calabar Carnival, so people from around the world would actually come to Nigeria, specifically Calabar, to also experience the culture, to experience what Calabar has to offer. Now, Calabar is no longer how it used to be. If you want to know more, please check this documentary that the YouTuber Steve Nduku did on it, if you're interested. But you know what? The Miss Africa production said, we will still continue to uphold this legacy. So, I said to myself that, listen, you know, I'm supporting all pageants. Usually I support our African queens when it comes to international pageants. So I said, this is a Pan-African pageant. To me, this is the first I've actually seen. If you know of any other Pan-African pageant, specifically focused on African countries, please drop it in the comments. But this is the only one that I know. Usually, I review a show, yeah, and then at the end, I'll call the good and the bad. But when I watched the episode on YouTube, let's just say that I'll just go straight to the point. You know, even though I'll still call out my favorites, that one most definitely, but there are still some things that I feel like, okay, Miss Africa, we need to do better. I really want best for this pageant, to be honest, because I think it's a good initiative. So for anybody that doesn't know of Miss Africa, I'm actually going to their website because it's best to get it from the source. And this is the information that I came up with. It's also an initiative that has been sponsored by the government of Cross River State, which is the state, Calabar is actually the capital of Cross River State. And they're focused on fulfilling its promise of promoting, showcasing, and developing Cross River State. So it's also helping to promote the state in itself, even though this is Miss Africa, but it boosts Cross River State based on the tourism, based on just everything. So to be honest, it's good. And also as well as Nigeria's environmental lifestyle with the amalgamation of beauty, fashion, nature, and charity. So the person who is behind it, Ben Ayade, the executive governor of Cross River State. Okay, who is a strong environmental activist, a man who can give everything. And their website looks quite professional. I think it's very good. So for me, this is based on their website, yeah. Now, let me first start with the good, yeah, because the negatives you guys do not want to know. I'll start with the good. First of all, I'm happy that there is a Pan-African pageant. You know, we're always looking at the international ones, and to be honest, unfortunately, most of the time, we don't really do well internationally. Let's just be honest. Even though there has been a lot of money spent, a lot of effort put, but when it comes to the hierarchy, most of us are just not there as a continent. It's only few. It's only few. So for me, I always said, okay, it's good that we have an in-house pageant, a Miss Africa one. To me, this is the only one that I know of. Now, if you know of any other Pan-African pageant specifically focused on Africa, please drop it in a comment. But this is the only one I know of. So to be honest, I have to commend them, and I also have to commend the Cross River State government for actually setting this up. It also helps boost the tourism and everything in Cross River State. So the pros that I also liked was the entertainment. I think the entertainment was good on this show. We had Ice Prince Zamani and I said, where was Ice Prince? Like, we haven't heard from you in God knows when. It's been how many decades? And for some of the people who only know of the current Nigerian artists being Wizkid and Burna Boy and Davido, there were other great artists too in Nigeria that I've seen, you know, because I've been following the music scene when it comes to Africa. We had so many: P Square, Wande Cole, Timaya, D'banj, Sasha P, you name it, Cynthia Morgan, YJ, you name it, everybody. We had so many good artists back then. Nice, you name it. So we have Ice Prince. And at least he's still being booked and busy. It's just sad how his career is not as big as it's supposed to be. But he did well. I'll say the entertainment was quite good. So that's no problem. So that's the first one. I also loved how they were hosted, how the candidates were hosted when they arrived at the airport. They had a welcome dance with the cultural dancers. You could see how they were involved in it. I actually like that. Third of all, Ebuka, who is the host, he's an excellent host, a world-class presenter, somebody who is not only good looking, he dresses very well, he presents very well, he engages with the crowd. And to be honest, Ebuka is a presenter that I expected on Miss Nigeria last year, Miss Nigeria Universe last year, but I guess they couldn't pay his rate. Fourth of all, I believe the prize money is good. The prize money is really, really good. Again, compared to Miss Nigeria Universe or Miss Nigeria World, the prize money is good. I think that they pay them like $20,000 if I'm not mistaken. They also get a car. I'm not sure if it has changed over the years, but what I've heard, what some of the previous winners received, they received something very good. And also, the good thing is that they focus also on the advocacy on the winners. You basically see what they do. Like, for example, we saw I think last year's winner was Miss Nigeria, and we saw how heavily focused she was in her advocacy. It was providing fertilizers in rural areas to the farmers, women education, something like that. So it was really, really focused on that, and we could see it for ourselves. You know, again, I don't want to be comparing it, but I did not see that with Miss Nigeria. So to be honest, those are things that I think are very, very good. Like I said, I'll be rooting for this pageant. I'll be reviewing them, everything whatsoever. So even though I'll call out the negatives, because you guys should be prepared for the negatives, it's only room for improvement. If they're willing to take it, no problem. It is what it is. I'm not here to tell them what they do, but this is just my opinion. And I think there is room for improvement. That's how we grow. First of all, the show itself, the show on YouTube, it felt rushed. That's how it felt. It was not, you see that when it comes to production-wise, there's not really such a heavy involvement schedule this time and all that. They've wasted the first 20 minutes just, you know, almost on nothing. But it's okay. It's a live show. Then the second one, where I'm not sure if that's the executive governor or the governor, but it's still the government of Cross River State. I think it's the governor or senator. And he spoke, to be honest, on stage. He had to say special thank you to everybody who was involved, and let's get ready for the show. That's what he said on stage. Now, I would have preferred, no disrespect to the governor, yeah, but I would have preferred that there was already a pre-filmed video where he sat in his office and with a background music, a background sound, very, very slow, and where he's just addressing everybody and saying that, oh, we welcome our delegates, and we are looking forward to having you. We would like to say a special thank you, and also from the office of Cross River State, this is what we say, this and that, just all that stuff. So also engaging, but just a formal message in a video, and that would have been played on the screen, and I would have been fine with that. The thing is, I didn't have a problem. I didn't really have a problem with him coming on stage, but it's just like we didn't need to see that. We wanted a pre-filmed video where you're in your formal wear, you sit behind your desk, and then you say your special wishes and kind of keep it simple and short. But it's okay. He had to have his say. No problem. Yeah. So again, another negative is the social media. I wanted to follow everything that they were doing, their activities. I barely saw that on the Instagram. I didn't even see that in the YouTube. You know, they could have had a videographer that would have followed them behind the scenes, what they were up to, their touristic trips that they did in Abuja and the ones that they did in Calabar. I wanted to see more about that, and I basically just didn't see it. I didn't see it on the Instagram. Nothing. Their Twitter account is not active. Nothing. And that's what I really wanted to see, because some people, they want to see also the culture of Nigeria. They want to see the touristic parts of Nigeria. We probably know Nigeria is not only Lagos, it's also other places. So I was quite disappointed in not seeing that. So I hope they do more when it comes to that. Now, the stage production. We've always spoken about stage productions. Stage production, I understand, it's costly. It's costly. It involves a lot of electricity, a lot of lightning. It's not easy. Trust me. I know when it comes to the funds, it is just not easy. Even if you see how they do it in the West, they have big lorries carried with all these appliances for the stage production. And it costs a lot of money. So I understand when kind of they go for the medium one, because that's all they can afford. And unfortunately, this is what I've mostly seen in the African pageants, with the exception maybe of South Africa's one, Cote d'Ivoire's one, because Cote d'Ivoire's one was quite good. You know, the other African countries, we still have a bit of a long way to go when it comes to stage production. So that one, as usual, I always call it out, but it's okay. With time, we'll grow. The stage could have been again bigger. It could have been a bit bigger, but I'll say that this one again was better than the Miss Nigeria one that I saw last year. Also, the background screens, we did not need 3. I wish that it could have just been all a big one, and that's it. One whole big one. Because the 3 screens, it just didn't make sense. I think I was confused watching it. On 2 of the other background screens, when one of the girls would walk, they'll just show behind the scenes footages, and then the middle screen would just still have the Miss Africa logo. It just didn't make sense. I would have wished that if there was this big background screen, then we would see kind of like a promo video of the delegates where they are in their country. It could have been a landmark area, or just somewhere which a signature of the country which represents her country, and that would just be a nice background. So for example, if you have Miss Ethiopia, you have the background of her in Addis Ababa, and just basically just walking, and just a nice promo, just mostly specifically about that. That's what could have happened. So that's the thing. Now with the lightning they tried. Again, I'm comparing it to Miss Nigeria. With this one, the lightning, they tried. They did much better. I was able to see the girls' faces. Now with the light, yeah, even though the light is good, sometimes I would prefer them to use a specific type of light. Especially for us brown girls even, we need a specific kind of light. Bright light, but a bit with a golden touch. It makes us look, you know, stunning. But it's okay. And I don't know if the YouTube version was different than the TV broadcasted version, because like I said, if I see the YouTube one, it's just because it's so unedited, it looks like it's dragging. Yeah. And also there was no sound. There was a lot of issues with the sound when I was watching this show. In the first 15 minutes there was no sound. And then there's where you could see actually where the ladies were talking. They were introducing themselves on the video, the pre-video that they did. But we couldn't hear a sound. Even during the show too, where the girls would walk, you would just hear a mix of the sound. Either it was off or it was just confusing. It happened multiple times. Also, where are the fans? We need to see the fans, you know. Does, like, maybe some of these candidates, maybe they could have flown with some of their people. We needed to see the fans, because again, mostly when I watch Nigerian pageants, it seems like we barely see the fans. compared to if you watch other ones. You just see like maybe high profile people that just want to go to an event and to watch a pageant. But we need the engagement of the pageant. We need to see the fans holding the banner, screaming for them. That's what makes it fun. But we didn't see it, because the thing is, when Ebuka, for example, said, "Oh, Miss Nigeria," the whole audience was screaming. Then when it was the other countries, it was almost crickets. It was mute. So we need to have the fans there. Yeah, and also when it comes to the cultural wear, which is the first part, which I'll start, yeah. The cultural wear, my favorite in this segment was Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Somalia, Zimbabwe. Those were my favorites in the cultural wear. Now the cultural wear issue is that I felt some girls, especially the ones that I called, at least those ones, they weren't it was identical to their own culture. That was actually their traditional wear. There were some girls that came, I felt like the traditional wear that they were wearing was not even from their own country. I was a bit disappointed in my country, Ghana. Like, she looks stunning, she looks good, but girl, we have so many, we have rich culture too. We have kente, we have other things that you could have combined, batakari or anything. But what you came with on stage, it was not looking Ghanaian at all. And that was the issue that I had also with some of the other countries. It did not look like it was their own traditional wear. So I kind of felt mixed. So I did not know what the requirements were when it comes to Miss Africa. I just did not know what the requirements were. Like, is it mandatory that it should match your country? So for me, those were my favorites, again, in the traditional wear: Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Somalia, Zimbabwe. Like I said, yeah, Ghana was my least favorite. South Africa too was also my least favorite in the cultural wear. But like I said, maybe because when it comes to South African culture, I'm not going to lie, usually I'm always focused on the Zulu culture or the Xhosa culture. I think maybe the South Africa, she was representing North South Africa, so either Sepedi or anywhere. And what she was wearing, again, it's not to offend anybody's culture, but it was looking like a house mama dress. You know, like a house mama dress. Come up with something a bit like more glamorous. Some other African countries, they really need to start improving their cultural wear. Girl, don't say because they did it 50 years ago, so you stick with it. You have to improve it. Hey, I don't joke with cultural wear. So that now when it comes to the swimsuit wear, the swimsuit wear, my favorite were Ethiopia, Ghana, Mozambique. Mozambique looked like a supermodel. Stunning. Miss Rwanda, she has a super height. She was so tall, she's stunning. South Africa too looked cute with the Indebele prints on her swimwear, looked stunning. Now Namibia, baby. Namibia's one was risque, was sexy, was risque. I don't think I would have worn that at the pageant. I don't think I would have worn that at the pageant. Her bare cheeks were out. Like I said, girl, I would not have worn that at a pageant. I'm sorry for swimsuit. I would have worn it at a beach party, but definitely not there. So the evening gown, my favorite ones were Ethiopia, because again she integrated it with her cultural wear still. I loved Ethiopia's evening gown. Namibia's one, I have mixed feeling of it. It's again sultry, it's again sexy. It looks cute. I would not wear it for a pageant. I would wear it to somewhere else, but I would not wear it to a pageant. So Namibia, girl, you're quite risque and sultry. So hers, I'm like, I liked Rwanda's one. Somalia's one was nice, even though it was conservative, was also nice. Zimbabwe, Mozambique, those evening gowns, I loved it. Now, the ones that I disliked, DRC, Congo. DRC's one is not that bad, to be honest, but I just felt, I just did not really like it. I did not like Kenya's one. I did not like Liberia's one. That one was even the worst. That one looked cheap. Very, very cheap. So I did not like these three countries one, DRC, Kenya, Liberia's one. And even before going into the evening gown, yeah, going back to the presenting, it's, I don't know. So we had the entertainment part. The entertainment was good, to be honest, that they provided the whole evening. I'm even going to get into it. The entertainment part was good. But the thing is, we did not even get like any, we were not even informed that we would go straight into the evening gown. So the way, the order of how the show was presented, it was just more like, it was a bit all over the place. So it was, we were done with the cultural wear. Okay, we talked to the judges. And then after that, there was a performer. And then we went straight into the evening gown without Ebuka actually saying that. But okay, it happened. Now, the top 10 announcement. We needed suspense sound. Keep us on our toes. We want to be excited, but no suspense sounds. It was just muted. They went straight into the top 10 announcement. So the top 10 announcement: Somalia, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Mozambique, South Africa, Mali, Algeria, Botswana, Kenya, Congo. And then we had, that was the top 10, but then we had a wild card. And the wild card by the judges was Namibia. And I said, thank God. Because Namibia, girl, after showing your bare cheeks, you should have been chosen. I'm just joking. So it just went straight to that. So that's where we knew that it was by public vote. That's how we got to the top 10. Yeah. So after the top 10, we had, again, the behind the scene video, which showed what Africa means to you. How do you care about the eco planet, this and that. And so we heard all the girls speak. Not on stage, but just the video, to be honest, their promo video. And I thought it was quite good. But then we realized that there was quite a language barrier with some of the countries. For example, I saw Somalia, Ethiopia, Mozambique. They were speaking in their language. No problem. Then, after that, all the ladies came on stage and they had to announce the top 6. And I said, wow, that's so quick. Like, did we not even get like a QA or at least a personality question test or anything before we, before we went to the top 6? But no, they went straight into the top 6. So the top 6 is Mali, Mozambique, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Congo. And Somalians, they felt some type of way, but I'm going to say that one at the end. I don't want to deviate of it. They're like, what? Somalia is not in the top 6 after we voted heavily for this girl? But again, I'll get there. So now, finally, we get to the QA. Yeah, the Q&A. And Congo, DRC, she was well-spoken. She answered her question very well. Nigeria, too. The question that they asked, how do you combat gender-based GBV? And her answer was, women create life, women dominate world, and we should stand firm. We create these men. They, even if we are the ones that create men, so we cannot allow them to get to us. I mean, I said, okay, that sounds nice and cute, but unfortunately, let's be honest. As women, we lead by emotions. It's like we've been cursed with love. When we love, our thinking goes out the window, and it makes us vulnerable very easily for us to be taken advantage of. Like, men can easily, we put them on a pedestal. We wish it could be like that. So I feel like the answer for the GBV should be that we need to, the male child actually should be, we need to, I don't know how to say it, in our culture, we need to hold these men accountable. Yes. And also that includes with the male child. We need to know how to raise them in a way that they should also have respect for women. And the consequences would be worse, for any man that is responsible for GBV. So not a society that allows this, endorses this type of behavior and tell the women that, oh, you should just suck it up and don't do anything. He's still a man at the end of the day. No, we need to hold the men accountable. So it starts from there. So her answer, I wasn't feeling it. Mali Mali, I think her question had to do with promoting culture and all that. And she said we should not be ashamed of our African culture. We should be able to sell it and be proud of it because other people see value in our culture that we don't see. I think that's a good answer. Namibia too also had a good answer. They asked, what does green Africa mean to you? And she said that Africa, it seems like we don't really appreciate our agricultural sector, and you know, we need to find ways to save our planet, thinking of the future of tomorrow for our children and all that stuff. So that's where the focus need to be. And I said, yes, we Africans, we don't know what we have, you know. Other people, they come to our continent to exploit it. They see value, things that they sell for such a higher value. We have all these mineral resources, but what do? We all need to come together to do something. Now Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe also gave a good answer, and it's more like, okay, the best answer about advocacy, how will it impact her? And she did her homework. In fact, she even spoke about the government of Cross River State, Calabar, and she said, I see what you guys are doing. I would also like to be part of this initiative. Together with my own initiative, I want to keep growing with it and all that, and to work together. So I said, she did her homework. That's good. You know, that's what you have to do with sponsors or anybody. You need to also involve them in the things that you want to do and also know about them. So I think it was good. Now the blunder was Mozambique. Whoo! Mozambique one was the blunder. They asked her a question. Like I said, there were some countries that had issues with languages. And Mozambique, she was in the top 6, but she was struggling because the girl can barely speak English. And so she answered it in Portuguese, but she said in Portuguese that she would like to have an interpreter.
My question is, why is representation important in leadership? Why do you think representation is important in leadership?
Boa noite a todos. Por favor, eu gostava de ter a questão em português, para que eu melhor responda.
Yes. Well, she said, so can we find one? I think she deserves a chance. I could tell she said something that makes a lot of sense. I just can't hear the language.
She wants an interpreter.
Yes. All right, so that, yeah.
Woman is a voice, power of the universe. Woman is a voice, woman is a love, woman is...
Now, Miss Africa Production, you guys did not have an interpreter for that girl. Nothing whatsoever. So even when they asked the question, the judge asked the question, and he said, okay, I think I understand what it means. We're good. And she was trying to say to Ebuka, the presenter, that I really need an interpreter. And they were like, oh, shall we use Google Translate? It was a hot mess. So eventually the judge said, okay, no problem. Try to answer it. First, they wanted to let it go. But they discussed and they said, okay, try to answer it in the most littlest English that you can do. So even though she was struggling with the English, she tried to get some few words in between. Now I want to say with that, yeah, Miss Africa Production, if you know that you're not going to give an interpreter to any of these ladies, yeah, I think the best thing is that your criteria should just say that English is a requirement to speak. It is a requirement to speak because the embarrassment is too much. Yeah, so I just feel like if you guys know that you cannot get an interpreter, just let English be the main focus. Let them all, they should be able to speak at least basic English and all that. So because even for some of the candidates, that's why they say in this world that you need to learn English, especially when you're going into the pageant world. You need to learn English very well because it can really help you. It will not let you be embarrassed like that. So I kind of felt bad for Mozambique. She was left hanging. Now they need to call the I'm just rushing. Now they need to call the winners, second runner-up, first runner-up, blah blah blah. So the second runner-up, Namibia. Yeah, even though I was like, oh, but it's okay. She tried her best because she's a wild card option. First runner-up, Miss Congo. I said okay. So our winner is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. She did well. Well-deserved win. She presented herself very well, well spoken. Her Q&A was the best answer to me, and I think she's a well-deserved winner. Now, speaking of the winner well deserved. She did well. She carried herself well. Even in most of the rounds, she was also one of my favorites. Now, there were some countries that I disagreed that they did not really make it in the top 6. I'm not going to lie. Even in the top 10, I felt Ethiopia deserved to be in the top 10 or even in the top 6. She tried her best, but I guess she barely got any votes. Somalia also did well. Now, Somalia, again, from what I've seen, she did well, to be honest, in all the stages. The only thing is the language, again, because I see that there was also a language issue. So based on that, I'm not sure how I would have judged her. But she also deserved to be in that top, in that top 6, I'll say. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my thing. Now the uproar, now let's get to the uproar from the Somalians, yeah. Somalians were pissed because I'll say that they've, out of all the countries, they voted the most for their countrywoman. Even if you go on the Instagram of Miss Africa Production, the post that had the most engagements, most likes were the ones with Somalia in it. So they were heavily invested. And they wanted to get their girl to win. That's what they wanted. So at least when it came to the vote, she made it to the top 10. But beyond the vote, you know, you have to make it to the top 5, top 6. That's mostly the judge's choice. Yeah. And they just think, maybe they thought like, okay, whoever gets the most vote will automatically be the winner. That's not how it works. Yeah, in pageantry. That's just not how it works. Now, like I said, this is the reason why I said that us, the fans, or us, the people who watch, we need to see more of these girls. For me, the only thing that I went off was the cultural wear, the swimsuit, the evening gown. That's it. I needed to see more personality, and hence why I've advised Miss Africa Production that we need to see more behind the scenes video. We need to see when they have their conferences, when they do their tourist activities, how do they engage with each other, when they have maybe some of the events, how they speak. I want to see more of that so that I could judge properly. But again, just like Miss Nigeria, it's always like that. It's always rushed. Even if you've seen other Miss Nigeria contestants. So I don't know. But I thought maybe Somalia, she was a good candidate. Now what I'm against, yes, what I'm against is those terrible comments. Miss Zimbabwe, you people are not going to spam her or drag her or call her ugly. Yeah, because some of these comments were worrisome. You have the right to feel how you want to feel. Sometimes we're devastated if our favorite doesn't make it. But let it go. It's not the end of the world. Not that you have to resort to making xenophobic attacks and calling all the, let's just say, calling all the candidates, specifically the black people, Bantus, ugly. Are you kidding me? Why? Eh? If you don't like the competition, and the thing is, this is sometimes what I've noticed about some Somalians. I'm saying some. It's not even only with this competition. Even some that I've come across. Some think that they are better than black Africans. Why? Some, they look down on them. Some even go to the extent to say our hair is better. Are you kidding me? If it's like that, if you people see yourself as Arab, please stick with the Arab side. Try to compete in an Arab competition. But I don't know if you people will also be accepted to that. And us Africans, I'll say us Africans, we're very welcoming. But it seems like some people take the piss. And you think you can dismiss us like that. The other people, I'm just being honest. When it comes to the other Arab people even, who are willing to, will you talk down to them like that? Are you going to insult them like that? I felt those comments were inappropriate. And I feel this needs to change. Because if it's like that, then, you know, people will not take. And the thing is, with Miss Africa Production, Somalia has won before. Somalia has won before. It's not that they haven't won. They've won before in the past. And then they're saying that, oh, they're discriminating against Muslim women. How often have you seen this show? Because like I've said, Somalia has won before in the past. I don't think the way you deal with things like this is fair. I would not have an issue if it was just few people that had this opinion. But if you saw all the comments under Miss Africa production, the comments were flooded. That's not how you deal with things. There's a winner and there's a loser in every competition. But we move on. Do you know how many times, even in international competitions, even as Africans, black Africans, that have been done dirty and they've disrespected us many times? We took our L with grace and we moved on. But it's not like how you drag all these girls, these innocent girls that are participating, calling them ugly and just looking down on them. Why? Because your favorite didn't win? Too bad. Yes, it sucks, but you have to take it. It's not that you go to the extent to make xenophobic attacks. And you are in Africa too. You're on the continent. You see, that's why I said that not all Africans are even real Africans. Seriously. I'm just being honest. Eh? This is the same issue that happened with some of the North Africans during AFCON. And we showed them pepper. We said, you know what, we don't care anymore. Most big African media houses, they paid the North African countries dust. They didn't even give them promo. And then all of a sudden they started saying, oh, what about our country? We didn't get promo. And this and that. We won. Why didn't we get posted? Well, you don't consider yourself as Africans. And you look down on Africans. Same with North Africans. It's not all. I've seen some that are quite, you know, welcoming. But majority, I'm just being honest. And we're fed up. No, you people will not be benefiting and thinking like, oh, you're better than us. But then when it comes to coming in our space, then you're open. No. So I hope that for next time, you guys should just move on and stop harassing Miss Zimbabwe. Stop it. It's not needed. She doesn't need this. Just celebrate your person, wish her well, and say that, you know what, she has done well. And we move on. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you. Bye-bye.